2014 Farm Act and made hemp law, 0.3% THC, that's the definition. Those federal agencies, those 16 federal agencies said, well, Congress made hemp legal, but I'm not sure that they really meant to make it legal. So we're going to still consider it Schedule 1 controlled substance. 2018 Farm Act comes through and says, no, Congress, we really meant to make hemp legal. And we still have, even like the DEA, I mean, just coming out with opinions, you know, that, well, we're going to try to keep it illegal if we can. And so now they're playing around this 0.3% THC level. So that's the fight. And what you're seeing in North Carolina is a result of the fight because the federal level is trying to keep everything unlawful in every way they can. And with that, I'll hand it over to you, and you can, I'm sure you can go
The
whole.
important thing to remember about North Carolina, which is why our roles are so important in the state, is we are something called a Dillon's Law state, which means we do not have citizen ballot initiatives. That is one thing that makes us very different from other states who are involved in a number of the federal battles, is we can't collect petitions and go to the Secretary of State and just say, one bill, please. You know, we can't turn that in. We have to rely on our elected officials to be the ones to introduce new legislature, which is where activists and lobbyists come in, because we can go and try to win the hearts and minds of the people that are necessary. And we can also do the same thing with the voters, because North Carolina has a lot of rural counties that have what we like to call legacy voters, people that will vote the way their pastor tells them to, or the way their father did, or their mother did, or their grandfather did. Even if they don't agree with all the policies of that party, they just don't know any different, and no one's ever tried to educate them, because we keep forgetting about those counties, because no one ever needs to go to Shelby. No one ever needs to go to Buncombe that often, unless they live in one of the counties around them. You know, it's one of those things where you get a lot of places in North Carolina that people don't think about the representatives coming from those counties holding very powerful positions in the NCGA, but because we don't have term limits either, that's how they've gotten to be where they are. And that's the fight that we deal with on a daily basis.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go a little rogue here and just give you guys, for anyone that cares about what's actually happening here in North Carolina with the bills, because it is unprecedented for what we have seen with legislation in this nation so far. And we believe that what happens in North Carolina is going to be how it's attempted to play out in the Southeast region. So just a little bit of background. North Carolina right now, we have a Republican drafted and led medical marijuana bill. That bill is Senate Bill 711. And now, like I said, we have 3 hemp bills, well now 2 as of Wednesday. And those bills right now are Senate Bill 455 and House Bill 1051. I know you probably don't care about any of those numbers, but I'll tell you, and I'm going to be really honest with you if you live in North Carolina, what is happening right now. So North Carolina is a little bit different as opposed to like a state like Florida that legalized back in 2016, and then a hemp industry flourished along with their marijuana industry. Well, in North Carolina, we're so late to the game here in North Carolina that hemp has been allowed to flourish. We're actually the number 6 hemp industry, hemp production, tied with Oregon in the nation. So we have quite a profitable industry. And what's happening here is now that legalization is coming in, these MSOs are coming in, they also want our hemp industry. So what is being held up right now, and this is not a conspiracy theory, I'm being very honest, you can tell legislators that Nicolette sent you. But what is happening right now is really unfortunate because North Carolina's Senate Bill 711 is so restrictive that it is allowing 10 out-of-state corporations to come in for these licenses. The incoming license, and I'll explain why this ties into him. With these licenses, you have to be fully vertically integrated, which means that you have to manage the operation from cultivation to point of sale. Now that's a costly infrastructure for many businesses. Each license is $50,000, and on top of that, you're having to prove about $10 million in cash in your bank account to show that you have enough capital and that you're liquid enough to operate this hefty structure. That said, because we have such a profitable hemp industry, what we're seeing and why this is being held up in the Senate, who has Bill 455 that could pass right now if they really wanted it to. But let me tell you that they don't. And they don't want to pass it because what they are trying to do is roll finished product sales, manufacturing finished product sales that include CBD and Delta-8 into their corporate-run 80 statewide dispensaries. And that's the truth. That's why these bills are stalling. That's why it may not pass. Unfortunately, North Carolina is seeing what is an unprecedented corporate cannabis takeover. These licensees right now are incoming include Trulieve, Merida Capital, which has Cresco Labs and Jushy in their portfolio. And these are the people that don't want to just come in and play nice. They don't want to say, hey, hemp, you're really profitable. We're going to go do this. They don't want that. So they want the hemp industry. They want the product sales in their dispensaries, and that's what's happening with this bill right now. So is it going to go through? Is it not? Right now, I actually we work very closely with legislators in the House and the Senate. I actually just had